What's up, everyone? My name is Evan Sarakis, and welcome to the NYC Hoop School preseason program. This program is going to be a blueprint for you to have a successful season this year. Now, I have a full outline on what we're going to go through right now that I will share with you. But just a quick overview here, there's going to be 5 moves. Move number 1, you're going to get in tune with yourself. Move number 2, you're going to be building relationships. Move number 3, you're going to be going through the preseason essentials. Move number 4, you're going to go all in on your self-improvement. And move number 5, you're going to prepare your in-season mindset. The overall goal here, like we mentioned, is to help you have a successful upcoming season. These 5 moves will put you in a position to have that success. When going through this program, I'll actually be bringing it back to my game because I'm currently a college basketball player as well. So as we get through each move of getting in tune with yourself, talking about the in-season mindset, I'll be able to give live insight from my process, and so maybe you can relate to that as well. I'm super looking forward to getting through all this information with you, and as always, stay driven by results. Move number 1, get in tune with yourself. And this move is going to have 2 parts to it. The first part is going to be off court, and the second part is going to be on court. And before I dive into all this information, I want to make it very clear. You are not just a basketball player. You are a human being first. And you need to make sure that you keep that priority exactly that way. Because if you don't have success on the court, it doesn't mean you are a failure. Meaning if Evan Sarakis has a bad game, it doesn't make me a bad human being. You are a human first, basketball player second. And you've got to keep that the priority. Because if you have that out of whack and it's too intertwined, that's what leads to frustration, anger, mistakes, and you don't end up enjoying the process. You have to have the perspective that basketball is a vehicle for you for self-improvement, for building relationships, for reaching your goals. Basketball is the vehicle. It is not everything that you're about. I am Evan Sarakis first, and I play basketball. Basketball isn't controlling my life. I control basketball. Having that perspective shift is huge if you want to make sure that you can stay on the right path. With that being said, there's 10 questions that you have to go through as a player before your season begins, just to get back in tune with yourself. First one being, what is your purpose in life? Now you might be thinking, how does this have anything to do with basketball? Well, my purpose in life is to help players reach their full potential. And so I'm playing in my college basketball career because there's lessons there that I can take and bring back to teach players like yourself. That is my purpose, and now it helps fuel me during my season. What is your purpose? It is something that you really have to deeply think about. It's not something that you might be able to do at a snap of a finger, but get in touch with your purpose because that could be fuel for yourself heading into your season. Second question, make a 5 to 7 list of your priorities. Meaning, you have your purpose in life. Now what are your priorities? For me, my priorities are God, New York City Hoop School, college basketball, family, and my health. That's my top 5 priorities. What are your top 5 priorities? Obviously, you're going to have to include school on top of that. You might have to include, maybe you're taking care of somebody. You might have to include that you have to work. Everyone's going to have different priorities in their life. But you've got to get clear on your priority list. Question number 3. I now want you to analyze your lifestyle. So you've got a clear purpose. You have your priority list. Now, what is your lifestyle looking like? Is your lifestyle aligned with the priority list you created? For example, are you happy right now or are you sad? Are you having good habits or bad habits in your life? Are you sleeping well? Are you excited every single day when you wake up? Analyze your lifestyle. Because if you're unhappy, if you feel like you have bad habits, that is going to affect you on court. Vice versa, if you are having a good lifestyle that is in alignment with your goals, that's going to help you with your improvement. So really analyze your lifestyle. Number 4, do you have any triggers or stressors in your life that is draining your energy? Maybe it's a bad relationship. Maybe it's a friendship that you've had for years, but they don't really, help you. Do you have to eliminate any of those? Do you have anything draining energy out of you? Maybe it's family problems. Whatever it is, recognize that. Try to fix that heading into your season. Question number 5. Do you have any problems right now? Meaning, are you really struggling in a class that's a major problem for you? Because if you fail that class, you're not going to be able to play this season. Here's a major problem. Maybe it's financial. You need money to, fund your life right now, and that's stressing you out. Maybe another problem is, you just broke up with a girl and you have some emotional stuff. Whatever it is, recognize those problems. This preseason is here to prepare you, your mindset, to be at your best form. So fixing those problems before the season begins is huge. 6th question. What successes have you had recently? Now it's time to start building your confidence. I had a phenomenal AAU season. I picked up my first scholarship. That's a success. Let that fuel you. I just came off of, a tournament, and I had my first ever 30-point game. That's a success. You've got to start stacking up these victories to build your confidence heading into this year. On the flip side now, question number 7 is, what adversity are you dealing with? What have you dealt with? I just came off injury, and, it was a 7-month process, and you know what? I've got to fight through that adversity, and you know what? I'm getting better now. That's my adversity I dealt with. Maybe it's, a family problem. Doesn't matter what the adversity is, recognize it, get in tune with yourself, so that now you can build off that adversity. Without being said, all adversity is fuel for you for improvement. So if you're dealing with adversity right now, it's an opportunity for you to grow. Question number 8. What are your personal characteristics? So, for example, my personal characteristics is I find myself being a visionary, I'm hardworking, I'm positive, and I'm an energy giver. Those are my, core personal characteristics. What are your personal characteristics? Maybe you're more outgoing, and you are maybe you're more introverted, but you're very calm. Like, know yourself, know your personal characteristics, because when you understand that, you can enhance that, and that's something that you're bringing to the team. So by you getting in tune with yourself, you can bring that now to the team and bring your best version of yourself. That's what's going to lead to your success. Next thing, question number 9. Make a list of what you like to do off the court. Right? So, for example, for me, I love watching movies. If it's a late night at the gym and I come home, I eat dinner, I love watching movies. That's something I like to do. It's kind of like my detachment from my work life. Something that is one hobby. What is yours? Maybe you enjoy, going for walks. You might enjoy hanging out with your friends at a certain spot. Whatever it is, just make a list of that. Because now you can use that list for let's say you have a bad game and you kind of need to detach yourself, from basketball for a second, or, you're going through a tough time and you just need an outlet. You have a list for yourself. So find a few things. It doesn't have to be, 20 things. 3, 4, 5 things that you enjoy doing that at any moment You can go detach yourself from basketball. And question number 10, what actions make you feel confident? So for example, for myself, right, I find myself that when I read, when I'm reflecting, when I'm executing my plans, and when I'm giving myself I am statements, something we'll talk about, in a little bit, makes me feel confident. So now, before practice, or if I have a bad practice and I need to give my confidence back up, I know what gives me confidence. You have to know what gives you confidence, right? So there's 10 questions here that I kind of just briefly went through. Use this to get in touch with yourself. As we mentioned, you are a human first, and then a basketball player, right? So if you could take these 10 questions to get in tune with yourself, now you're your best human self, so that when you do get on court and when you are around your teammates and you're going through your full season, you're going to be your best version. So go through these 10 questions, and I'll go through them very quickly again. What is your purpose in life? Make a top 5 to 7 priority list. Analyze your lifestyle. Know the triggers that stress you out or drain your energy. Understand the problems you have in your life right now. Know the major successes you've had in life. Know the major adversity you fought through in life. Know your personal characteristics. Make a list of your favorite things to do when you're off court. And know the actions that make you feel confident. Take these 10 questions and write them down. I even have a journal right here. This for me is my journal. Write it down. Write down the 10 questions. Get very clear on it. Get back in tune with yourself so that you can be the best version of you heading into the season. Now we just went through the first 10 questions that are off court. I now want to go through the 10 on-court questions to continue to get in tune with yourself. So we'll just continue through the list here. We went through 1 through 10. Now let's go through 11 through 20. Question number 11. Why do you play basketball? Now this is different than your purpose. Your purpose isn't just to be a basketball player. Your purpose is, like I mentioned, my purpose is to help people reach their full potential in life. Basketball is my vehicle. This is different than your purpose. I want to know why you play the game of basketball. For me, as I mentioned in the last video, my why is to take the lessons I'm learning, take note of that, and give it back to players. That's my why of why I love playing the game of basketball. One little why, but there's multiple. Maybe it's, also I enjoy the relationships I build. There's a lot of reasons why I play the game of basketball, but I'm in tune with that. Why do you play basketball? Because if you know why you play the game of basketball, there is a lot of low moments with this game and your process. Guaranteed. You're going to have some low moments this season. You're going to have some very high moments this season. This is going to be a rocky road for you. And if you don't have a why, those lows get really low. And you struggle to push through that if you don't have a why. So, what's your why? Why do you play the game of basketball? Question number 12. What do you enjoy most about the game? Right? So you play this game every single day. When you go into your season, you're going to be in practice every single day. What do you enjoy most? For me, I love the grind. To me, when, I'm grinding in the gym, I love that. When I see a result on the court, I love that. Those are some of the reasons why I play the game. It's a self-improvement game. And, obviously, you've got your teammates and you enjoy them. But what I love most about the game is the grind and the results. What do you love most? Question number 13. What are your top 3 values that you bring to a team environment? For example, for me, I bring leadership, competition, and IQ. I'm able to get to practice and be a leader. When I'm in practice, I am the most competitive and I want to win everything. And when I'm on court, I've got the highest basketball IQ, even sometimes more than the coaches. We won't even get into that. What are your top 3 values? Get clear on that. Because if you know your 3 values, you can always use that to your strength. I'm coming to practice. You need me there. Why? because I'm a leader, I've got the IQ, and I compete. Those are my values to the team. That team needs me to have that. What are your values? Go all in on your values, and your coaches, your teammates, everyone around you will see why they need you around. Question number 14. Did you have a successful off season? And to me, this is huge because you've got to be real with yourself. Did you have a successful off season? Did you put in the work that you wanted to? Did you follow that lifting program that you wanted to, the skills program you wanted to? Did you play in a lot of live situations? Did you have success in the leagues that you were in? Or was it the flip side where, you were on vacation for 3 months, you're not in great shape, you chilled more this off season? You've got to know how you did this off season because we're going to start building some expectations here. You know what I mean? There's not going to be a shock, that if you didn't have a successful off season and you're struggling in season, you know the reason why. Vice versa, if you had the most successful off season of your life and you're not performing on court, well, something's not lining up here, and it's something that now you can use as motivation, but also you can reflect and say I'm not playing at my best self right now. So how was your off season? Get clear on that. Question number 15. How do you feel heading into this upcoming season? How do you feel about it? So, are you excited? Are you just about it? Are you motivated? Do you have something to prove? What are your feelings? What are your emotions? Get in tune with that. Because, again, this is your fuel. For me, I look at this upcoming season that I'm having. I'm a fifth-year senior. I am excited. I am motivated. But more than anything, I'm cherishing every single day because this is my last year playing basketball. So for me, this season means a lot. I'm in tune with that. Notice the strength. Notice the emotion. Notice the fact that I can now use this as fuel to have a major successful season. Question number 16. What do you want to accomplish this season? What are your ambitions? Right? You're looking forward to the season. Great. Well, what do you want to accomplish? I just want to make the team. I want to be a starter. I want to average 10 points a game. I want to be the best three-point shooter on my team. I want to be the best defender. I want to be all conference. I want to win player of the year. I just want the team to win a championship. What do you want to accomplish? Get very clear on that. Be realistic about it, but get clear on what you want to accomplish. Question number 17. What's your next 5 moves? So this is now planning for the future, right? We're in a game where we've got to be playing chess, not checkers. So what's your next 5 moves? And this is super, super, super powerful. There's a book here. Your Next 5 Moves, Patrick Bet-David. And, this really changed my life here because you get clear on the future and that becomes your superpower, right? It's strategy. So your upcoming season, right, is a move, right? That's a big moment in your life. That's one move. But what are you doing after your season? Well, you've got your AAU season. What's your strategy for AAU? Do you have a move planned? Okay. After the AAU season, what's your plan? What are you going to be doing after the AAU season ends? What's your off-season game plan? That's another move, right? Then you look at the preseason next year, another move. Then next season, another move. Notice here, I'm planning out some moves for your future. But if I were to ask you right now, okay, what's your plan for next year? What's your plan in 6 months? What's your next move? Do you know that? Most players don't. And when you think about a guy like LeBron James, do you think he just goes day to day, just looking, I'm doing this today, I'm going to do this tomorrow, I've got games, whatever. No, he's got a schedule, he's got a plan, and he attacks that. And by you having these moves planned, you're not playing checkers, you're playing chess. And you're thinking ahead. For me personally, I'm 20 moves ahead right now. 20 moves. So with those 20 moves, I've got 2023, 2024, 2025 planned. You don't think that's fuel and motivation to wake up every single day and attack the day? It absolutely is. What are your moves? right? So if I were to give you a quick, overview of what your moves could be, is like, all right, this is the preseason right now. Move number 1, I'm going to win my preseason. Great. Move number 2, I'm going to go into the in-season and I'm going to crush it. I've got X, Y, and Z I want to accomplish. Boom, that's move number 2. When the season ends, move number 3, I'm going to know exactly what I've got to work on this off-season. Boom. Move number 4. This is what I'm going to do with my AAU. I'm going to reach out to these coaches. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. When that's over, move number 5, I'm going to go to these summer camps in August. Move number 6, I'm going to have the next preseason. Notice here how I'm planning some moves. You should write these down. Let me get something real quick. Hope you guys could see this. I've written down my 15 moves, right? I know exactly what I want to do. I know exactly what I want to accomplish. And I look back after those moves are accomplished, and I'm like, yep, I'm executing. That's what I'm talking about. And I see results. Pop, 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 pop. If you compare yourself to player number 1 that just goes day to day playing checkers, and player number 2 that's playing chess and planning 15 moves ahead, who's going to accelerate their development? Who has more of a chance to be successful? The one that plans. So plan your next 5 moves. Question number 18. What's your level of urgency to achieve your goals? Right? So if you're a senior in high school and your goal was to be a scholarship player, that is a short level of urgency. I mean, you've really got to, it's go time. You're all in. If you're an 8th grader that wants to get a scholarship, you've got more time. Your level of urgency is a little bit less. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be urgent, but it's different. Point that I'm trying to make here is you've got to determine and know your level of urgency. Because if you're that senior that's trying to get a scholarship, your level of urgency is you are all in right now because you don't have a lot of time. But the 8th grader, right, you still got to be in, but you've got time in front of you. It's just different levels of urgency. Get clear on that. Question number 19. I love this one. Create a list of enemies that fuel you on the court. Right? So, for example, my freshman year of college, I went to Maritime College. And didn't work out over there. I ended up transferring to St. Joseph's Brooklyn University. But an enemy of mine is the coach over there. We're cool now, but I use that as like, man, I want to prove him wrong. He's going to see why he made a mistake not playing me. Fuel. An enemy can help fuel you. Now, it doesn't just have to be a coach. It could be, a player that has made fun of you in the past. Or it could be, a bad season. Right? You make these enemies. And you create a mission out of it. You will fuel yourself. I actually have a list of enemies in this book. I don't know if I'll be able to find it. Let me see. If I could find it real quick. Let me see what we can find here. You make a list of enemies. And you gotta go a little bit farther back. Hold on. Alright, so list of enemies. Perfect. So looking right here, I've got, like I just mentioned, the Maritime coach. There was I'm not gonna say his name. He doubted me. It was like it was a friend group. There was doubt there. Enemies. I look at, the fact that I was an all conference, my junior year. Enemies. You have a list here. And when you go through that list and you get back to it, ooh, does that fuel you? Like, I'm looking here and I'm like, okay. It's fuel. How are you going to fuel yourself? Right? Create your list of enemies. And last question. Question number 20. Who inspires you to reach your full potential? Right? So for me, I love these vision boards. I'll show you them in a second. who inspires you, right? So for me, I look at a player like Marquise Noel. Marquise Noel is pretty much my height, 5'8". And, I mean, he killed it at Kansas State. He's hard over height. He's all in. Like, yo, man, he's inspiring me. You know, I look at a guy like Steph Curry. I know it's a cliche. You know, Steph Curry should not have been in the NBA with his frame and what he's done. He's the best shooter in the world, arguably one of the best point guards in the world. That's inspiring. What inspires you? Find a couple of people, man. Look up to them. There's nothing wrong with looking up to somebody and saying, man, you inspire me. Because what we're getting at here is, you know, that completed the 11 through 20. All 20 of these questions that we went through from 1 to 20, like, these are tools for you to just get in tune with yourself and then ultimately have some success out of it, right? It could be one thing. I got in touch with my why. It's going to help me this season. I have my list of enemies. I'm going to use this season. These people inspire me. Boom. It could be 1, 2, 3 things. It could be the full list. But overall, if you can just get in tune with yourself, you're going to put yourself in a position to serve people at your best. You've got 20 questions in front of you. You've got your 1 through 10. You've got your 11 through 20. Clearly, this is not something you can do at a snap of a finger. It takes time to reflect on this. But if you take an hour and just really let this sink in. Maybe you do like a journal reflection. You know, you have your phone with you with the list and you go for a walk. You know, maybe you're just chilling one day, you're by yourself. Reflect on this. Because these are tools here. You know what I mean? These are tools here that can help you get back in tune with yourself and ultimately help you lead to a positive and successful season. The goal of this move, number 1, of getting in tune with yourself, was to put you in a position to serve the people around you. Right? If you can be in tune with yourself, the best version of yourself, when you get to practice, when you get to your games, when you're around your teammates, you're going to have a positive energy to you. Because happy people make other people around them happy. High energy people are contagious. So by you getting in tune with yourself, being motivated, knowing your goals, having a vision, doing all the things that are needed to be done to be in tune with yourself, you put yourself in a position to serve others. This move is huge. This move is more important than just basketball. This is important in life. So get in tune with yourself, right? And the one thing I really wanted to add here is, you know, you've got to come back to this frequently on your path, right? You don't just get in tune with yourself one time and, you know, that's it. I'm in tune with myself now. No, like, you know, if you're on a path, right, you know, going through these 20 questions, you know, maybe brought you back on the right path, right? So maybe, you know, you were just navigating through and then, you know, now that you're back in tune with yourself, you're back on the path. But as time goes on, you start to slowly drift away. Get back in tune with yourself. You know what I mean? Like, if there's a fine line where, like, you slowly start to drift away, get back in tune with yourself. You know, you're here, you drift away, get back in tune with yourself. You go away, back in tune with yourself. You've got to constantly get in tune with yourself because now that's how you make progress. You know, we talked about, a quick example, we talked about your next 5 moves. Well, once you accomplish those 5 moves, what's your next 5 moves after that? Right? You have your 5 moves plan. Why not continue to build on that list and be 10 moves ahead, 20 moves ahead? Right? There's strategy where you've got to constantly get back in tune with yourself. Maybe, you know, you found a new purpose in life, or you could build on your why of why you play the game of basketball. You know, your level of urgency changed. You have different goals. There's so many different things that happen in your life. You know, it could almost be the point where you could spend 1 time a week getting back in tune with yourself. But it's an ongoing process. And during that process, and this will be my final point here, is, you know, you've got to connect the dots. Meaning, you're going to go day to day, and you're going to have a dot point down. So if you get a workout, that's a dot point. You know, you have a practice, that's a dot point. You have a game, that's a dot point. You know, you're going through this preseason program, that's a dot point. You know, everything you do with the game, you're going to be plotting down these dot points, right? Your ability to connect those dots is the secret recipe to having success. Meaning if your workout game, preseason program, if none of these dot points connect, you're not going to improve as fast as someone that is always connecting the dots. So I have this workout, and this workout is helping me prepare for the practice. And at this practice, I struggled with these things. So in my next workout, I'm going to do this. And then I'm going to have 3 days here. Boom, boom, boom. More dot points. Then I have a game. A lot of positives from that game. Some negatives from the game. I'm going to learn from that. Boom. I'm going to apply those lessons. Then I'm going to go through, all that information. And those are how you connected your dot points. Next example. You go through this preseason program. Boom, that's a dot point. How are you going to use this to place your next dot point? All right, cool. So, we'll get into it. We'll talk about the preseason essentials. Okay, I've got to add this to my preseason. Boom. Then you start adding in these workouts. You connecting these dots is what leads to success on the floor. And the only way you can connect those dots is through reflection, right? What you just did with this whole move is a self-reflection. You went through 20 questions, reflecting on your life, and look at what it just came from that. If you truly executed this information, look at what came from that. Right now, you're probably feeling motivated. You might have some kind of emotion. You might be inspired. You might have some clarity in your life. You've got something out of this reflection. Imagine you did this every day. It doesn't have to be, for hours. You reflected after the practice 5 minutes. After the game, you reflected. You're constantly making these reflections happen, right? You're connecting the dots. So, if you want to be your best version of yourself, you got to be in tune with yourself, okay? You have to be a positive, happy, high-energy person with your teammates. The only way you can do that is by being in tune with yourself and having some kind of vision for you. And then as you're going through that process, make sure you are connecting those dots and you're staying on that right path that we talked about. Use these moves. Use these moves we're going through. This was just move number 1 of getting in tune with yourself. Now we're going to build on that. But get in tune with yourself. Be the best version of you. And I promise you, controlling what you can control with yourself will lead to success heading into your upcoming season. This is the time now to execute the information you just learned. There is no point in you going through this course and not executing the information. Meaning, I just gave you move number 1 to get in tune with yourself. You have 20 reflection questions that you should go through. And now, you're going to get back in tune with yourself and, as we mentioned, become a better version of you so that you can serve others. But execute, right? Do not go to move number 2 until you execute move number 1. It's not going to be a very long process. It might take you an hour. It might take you 30 minutes. It might take you 15 minutes to just quickly skim through. What's my purpose? What's my priority list? How's my lifestyle? You know what I mean? What problems am I having? The successes, the adversity. What are my characteristics? What are my favorite things to do with playing the game of basketball? What actions make me feel confident? Etc., etc. It's not going to take you very long. But reflect on it. Execute it. Spend the time to execute move number 1. Then, just move to move number 2. And now, you can continue to build. But execute the information. Take the information, use it as a tool to now continue to get better. That's why I made this video of just execute, execute, execute. It does not matter the information you take in. It matters the information you take in and then you execute on that. That's what leads to results. Execute. Move number 2. This is a very important one. Build relationships. We're going to go through a few things here about building relationships. But before we even get into that, you need to understand that relationships is everything. I'm sure you've been on a team before where a coach has a relationship with a parent or a kid and he has a priority on that team. That's a relationship. I'm sure you've seen kids that made an AAU team that should not be on that AAU team. Probably shouldn't even be playing. But there was a relationship that made it happen. In life, in basketball, in business, relationships is everything. And so you need to value every relationship in your life. Coaches, teammates, custodians, staff, teachers. Every relationship matters. You build a reputation. It has to be a good one. You grow your network. And you've got to continue to build relationships, because that compounds and it could be your greatest asset in life. Relationships is huge. With that being said, you have to have the right relationships and build the right relationships so that now it can help you have a successful season. For example, there's a short list here. You speak with your coaches. You've got to have a relationship with your coach. Maybe it's going to his office, it's giving him a call, sending him a text, head coach, assistant coaches. I'm talking all the coaches. Build a relationship. I'm excited for the season. You know, what do you think about the team? What's your expectations of my role? What do you think I need to do to make the team? What's upcoming, coach? You go through all your coaches and you build a relationship there. That's going to be one of the greatest assets you have. Because now there's going to be more trust. They're going to look at you and have more respect for you. And overall, there's going to be clarity. There's communication there. So, get in touch with them. Build a relationship. A lot of players end up getting scared to communicate with their coaches. What are you scared about? They are a human being the same way you are a human being. Sure, they're in control of your playing time. But we already mentioned this. We are detaching basketball from your life. You are a human being first, and then you are a basketball player. So as a human being, you can build a relationship with another human being without having stress. And then that'll trickle down to basketball. So build a relationship with them. My challenge to you is maybe just talk to all of them. Reach out to the head coach and the assistant coaches and just talk to them. Just do it. And I promise you, you're going to see so many benefits from just doing that. Build a relationship with your coaches. Next, invest in your teammates. And I made sure to make it very clear that it's investing in your teammates. It's not just, I like these three teammates, I don't like these three, forget about those three, let me just go into these three. Nah, you are a team. You have teammates. You've got to invest in all your teammates. You've got to spend time with them, right? Sit with them at lunch. You've got to work out together. Hey, Chris, you want to work out with me today? Boom, you got to take the time to do that. You've got to share ideas with them, have a vision for the upcoming season. You know what I mean? You've got to invest in your teammates. That means you have to make some sacrifices in your life to invest in those teammates. By investing in your teammates, that's something that's going to pay off, especially as the season comes through. Because now, if you have mutual trust with a lot of your teammates, if you're one of the favorites on the team, ooh, that's leverage, right? There's been times, I've seen it in my career, there's a talented player, none of the teammates like him. He's having a tough time getting the ball, getting his shots up, even finding some playing time because things go back to the coach. He wasn't a good teammate. But on the flip side, I know plenty of guys that are amazing teammates. They get confidence from their teammate where, they all love him so they cheer him on. You go two routes with it. And by investing in your teammates, it will pay off in the long run. Not saying that it's a transactional relationship because you'll also enjoy building that relationship with your teammates. But build that relationship in your teammates and invest in them. Side note I'll make here is do not gossip. Do not gossip. I mean, you've got to be 100% positive. You don't want to start the season on the wrong foot by talking behind your teammates' back. I've seen it happen, right? If you have let's say there's one teammate that you don't think is going to get playing time this year, and you go to that, one of the guys, and you say, yo, I don't think he's going to play much this year. He's not looking good, X, Y, Z. And then that teammate goes to the next team and be like, yo, you know what Evan said? Yo, Evan said that you're not going to play this season. And then let's say I have let's say I'm the team captain and I'm in touch with the coach. And now I get back to the player. He's like, oh shit, Evan doesn't think I'm going to play this season. Maybe it was the coach. Look what just happened with that gossip. Do you really want to start your season that way? No. Do you want to go through your season that way? No. Do not gossip. It's all about building relationships 100% positive. If you find yourself gossiping about a teammate, stop it. I'm not going to talk bad about him. That's my teammate. I don't care who it is. You cannot do that. It's the worst thing you can do. We'll keep it running here. Beyond your coaches, beyond your teammates, you have to treat everyone in the organization like they're $1 million. When you walk into a building and there's a security guard, you say, hi, how you doing? How was your day? You treat them like $1 million. You go to the AD, you go to the staff members, and you build relationships with those people. Again, what we're talking about here is building a reputation, building leverage. Okay? If you go into a building, and this is my example. I go into my building at my college, and I am the nicest person to all the security guards. They know me very well. There's been times where they were able to open up the gym for me. I got extra shots up. Relationship. I go upstairs and the AD is there and the advisement's there. The marketing is there. There's relationships there. The marketing guy, he posts me more. The advisement, she helps me out. The AD, whenever I need to rent the gym, they're there for me. The athletic trainer, I've got a great relationship with the athletic trainer. Hey, they end work at 7 and my back is killing me. I've got to do some cupping and get some ice on it. They're going to stay an extra 15 minutes for me. They're going to have that ice bath ready for me after practice. Why? There's relationships across the board. Nothing to do with coaches, nothing to do with teammates. I'm talking about the people around the organization. How you make them feel pays off, and it matters. Because that goes back to the coaches. That goes back to the teammates. It's all about your reputation. So what kind of reputation do you have? Are you the kind of person that doesn't ever say hi? They don't even know you. They don't know your name. Is that the kind of reputation you want? Because to me, you're not even building a network, right? When you go back to school, you want people to know you and recognize you, right? You've got to build that relationship. And even going beyond this, I'm sure you've heard the stories about NBA players that had a poor reputation at their school, and when there were scouts that actually went to the school and asked questions, that affected their draft stock. There's many stories about that, where let's say the number 1 overall draft pick is trying to get drafted, number 1, and let's say there's a top 3, right? So you've got a number 1, number 2, number 3. And out of that top 3, all of them could get drafted number 1. What these NBA scouts will do is actually go back to the college, actually even go back to the high schools, talk to the coaches, talk to the kids, talk to the staff. How was he? They want to know your reputation. That could go 2 ways. Was he an asshole? Or was he someone that was high energy, positive, contagious? Your reputation matters. So build it from now. Build it from now. Treat everyone like $1 million. Next, we talk about building relationships. You have to build trust. You have to be a leader. You have to show up consistently. Those 3 things right there of, being a leader, building trust, and showing up consistently are huge. Because if you're the kind of player that is doing the communication for your team, you're constantly, doing the extra, having high energy, you're setting the tone, you're doing that communication, right? You build trust as a leader, and then you do that consistently. You're not late. You're consistent with your energy. You're always showing up to all the workouts. All of that matters. And so when we talk about a relationship, relationships take time to build. A reputation takes time to build. But the only way to build that is with consistency. It's with leadership. So you've got to show up every single day as your best version of you. Sure, there'll be a day where you're not your best version of yourself, but show up and be the best version of you. Because it's huge. It's huge in building those relationships. And the last thing I'm going to mention here is, sharing the vision. We're talking about building relationships with your teammates, your coaches, the staff. Have a vision. Have a vision that you want, and you share that. Because it doesn't matter who you're talking to. If you're under all one umbrella, let's say, I go to St. Joseph University. We are all a part of St. Joseph University. So what's my vision for St. Joseph University? How can I spread that vision and help everyone buy into that vision, right? I want to put St. Joseph's basketball back on the map. Vision. Everyone has a part in that. Everyone has a part in that. So share your vision. It'll help build the relationship. Overall, we talked about speaking with your coaches, investing in your teammates, treating everyone like $1 million in the organization, being a leader, showing up to workouts, building trust. This all goes into building relationships. It is so important. And that's why we spent the time talking about it. So if you are the best version of yourself, now it's time to show it and build those relationships. Before we go to the next move, I really want you to understand that the first two moves we went through of getting in tune with yourself and building relationships has nothing to do with your skill. Nothing to do with your skill. It has everything to do with how you are as a person. And above all, you should know by now that you are a human first, basketball player second. As a human being, don't you want to be the best version of yourself and build positive relationships in your life? By just doing move number 1 and move number 2, you're going to be a lot happier. You're going to have more success in your life just by showing up being the best version of you and having those relationships. It matters because it takes you well beyond where you are just today. It'll take you throughout life. So lock in here. Move number 1, move number 2. Become the best version of yourself and build those relationships. It has nothing to do with skills. We will go through the skills in this next move. Move number 3, we're going to be talking about preseason essentials. We will be locking in back on you as a basketball player. Of course that matters. But what really matters most here? You. The human element of you. Because what you can control is always how you treat people, how you show up. Controlling what you can control in your life is what leads to success. So you want to have a successful preseason and let that roll over into your full season? Be the best version of you and build those relationships. With move number 3, we're going to be talking about the preseason essentials. With these preseason essentials, they're going to be broken down into 3 different parts. We're going to focus on part 1 with your body. Part 2, we're going to focus on your individual skills. And part 3, we're going to focus on the team. As we get through each part, these are just going to be the tools that you need to have a successful season. There's going to be a lot of information here. I guarantee that. But as you get through this information, just find what you're missing or fine tune a couple of things that you're doing. For example, we're going to talk about your body. You might already be in the weight room a lot, but maybe with some of the advice I have with the lifts, you can make a fine adjustment. Or, same thing with the body. I'm going to mention a warm-up routine or ramping up conditioning. Maybe that's something you can add. So there's things that you can fine tune and add here. Same thing with your individual skills and same thing with the team. There's going to be a list here that in my eyes is the perfect preseason. If you could do all of these things, you're going to have a perfect preseason. But obviously, there's no ideal. Some of you might not have it all the time. Some of you might be younger. Some of you might be older. Everyone has different situations. Understandable. But find the spots where you can add something, fine tune something, maybe even take something away. Use this as a tool for yourself to just enhance what you're doing. This full course in general is here for you to do that. In move number 1 and move number 2, maybe you don't execute every little detail. That's okay. But you find concepts that you can add to your life. Same thing here. You can find the concepts with these preseason essentials that you can add and work into your schedule that'll ultimately keep you on track. Let's dive into it. Part 1 about the preseason essential is about your body. You need to focus on being 100% healthy heading into your season. If you find yourself going into your season with tendonitis, or you're going into your season with a nagging pain, It is a major, 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 major problem. You've got to fix that. It's your number one priority. Get your body right. You don't want to go into your season hurt, because then you can't perform at your best. That's poor first impressions. You don't establish yourself well on the team. There is nothing more important right now than you getting your body right. Your body's got to be ready for the season. You've got to have your body 100% healthy. How do you do that? You fix your pains. You've got tendinitis, focus on fixing that. Maybe you might have to manage your load on court to fix that tendinitis. Fix your tendinitis. You got to clean up your diet. You know, if you don't have a clean diet, you can't fuel your body properly and recover properly. You've got to be doing extra recovery, adding in those ice baths, those cold showers, the extra sleep. You've got to be 100% healthy this season. So go into your season healthy. Preseason essentials, get your body right. Building on that now, let's say you are 100% healthy. You've got to get in tune with your body. You've got to know, for example, how long it takes for you to fully recover. For me, if I'm super, super sore, I know that it takes about 2 days for my body to fully recover. If I'm slightly sore, I might need a 1 day. And I know when my body is just like, okay, I might be ready to go the next day. I understand that if I'm going through a practice and it's 2 hours and it's a high intensity practice, I know how I'm going to feel the next day. I know how I'm going to feel in 2 days. I have tools in my bag where if I do like a shakeout run, or if I do like this kind of ice bath, or I incorporate this kind of, contrast therapy, I jump in these boots, I know what I can do to get my body right. Do you know how to get your body right? Because there's going to be different times in your season where you're going to be super sore, where you're feeling fresh, you're in the in-between. You've got to know your body, how long it takes for you to recover. In addition to that, you've got to know your body weaknesses. So for me, I deal with Achilles tendonitis, and right now I'm dealing with lower back pain. That's what I'm dealing with right now. I know how to prime my body and fix that. What are your weaknesses? Everybody's got a weakness. Maybe it's jumper's knee. Maybe you got this shoulder pain. Maybe it doesn't matter what it is. You've got to know how long it takes for you to recover, know the weaknesses, in your body, and understand how to get your body primed. This is all about you getting in tune with your body. So get in tune with your body right now. Get very clear on how your body feels, how you can prime it and get it ready. Next, you got to be in elite shape. Are you in the best shape of your life right now? Every year you should be building, right? Every year you should be building. So if it's the preseason of this year, you should be in the best shape of your life. If you're not, you didn't have a good offseason. Are you in the best shape of your life right now? And to do that, the one challenge I have for you is do a long distance run. And you're probably like, oh, I hate running. I hated running too, but I currently run cross country. Oh, that helps. It helps big time. Do a long run. Let's see how good of a shape you're really in. Go for a pace. So let's say you're doing this. You could download this Nike app. Let me double check what it is right now. There's a Nike app where Nike Run Club. Nike Run Club. And pretty much with Nike Run Club, it will tell you how many miles you've ran and the pace in which you did it. I want you to go for a run. Go for a 3-mile run. And I want you to aim for a bare minimum 24 minutes. So that's an 8-minute pace. I'm not saying that's good. I'm saying that's bare minimum. So 3 miles, 24 total minutes. Go for a 24 total minute run. Maybe that's the average amount of minutes you get in the game. 24 out of 32 minutes. Do it. See what happens. Are you really in that good shape? Are you in long distance shape? Are you in the best shape of your life? You've got to ramp up your conditioning right now. In the preseason, you have to ramp up your conditioning. You should be in the best shape of your life now. You are in control of that. Because what ends up happening is if you're not in great shape right now and you just go into your season, let's say your intensity in your workouts right now is like a 5 out of 10. When you go to your season, most practices are like 10 out of 10 intensity. So that jump up week to weeks leads to you getting extremely sore, extremely fatigued. It leads to injury. And that's why a lot of injuries happen early in the season. To avoid that, get into the best shape of your life. So that now when you get into in-season, it's either a slow progression ramp up, where like, all right, I'm slowly ramping up, where I know my season's going to be super intense and it's a nice fluid flow. Or you train so much that when you go to the in-season, it's easier for you. Even better. That should be the ultimate goal. So be in the best shape of your life, ramp up your conditioning. Lifts, you should be lifting minimum 2 to 3 times a week. You know, you've got to put on strength. You've got to put on strength. You got to prepare your body. I'm big on the hypertrophy lifts. So hypertrophy lifts meaning, you know, higher rep range between, you know, 15, 20, 25 reps. And what that ends up doing with the hypertrophy is it builds some extra muscle on your body and it builds durability with your body. It's also partially a conditioner. So I'm huge on the hypertrophy lifts before your season. Maybe trying to incorporate that. And then adding in injury prevention with that too. So now's the time to do those ankle exercises, to do those knee stability exercises, those landing mechanics. You know, all that injury prevention stuff is huge. Because, again, you want to be in the best shape of your life. You know, you want to be 100% healthy. You want to know your body. You want to be in that elite shape. You know, you want to be strong. You want to, you know, look good. And you also want to have that injury prevention as well. And the last thing I'm going to mention here is you've got to develop your warm-up routine. What's your warm-up routine? If you go to the performance training section and you go to Body Essentials, there is a warm-up routine that you can use that goes from, you know, your toes to your ankles to your knees, your hips, your upper body, full body warm-up. Highly recommend that. Develop some kind of warm-up routine that you can do before every practice and every game. It's going to be great for you. Every NBA player has a warm-up routine. You should have one too. Right? So, just a ton of concepts here to think about your body. You know, we just talked about it, but, you know, focusing on being 100% healthy. Getting in tune with your body on, you know, your recovery, your weaknesses, you know, how to get your body primed. Being in elite shape, ramping up your conditioning. Lifting 2 to 3 times a week, using those hypertrophy lifts. Developing some kind of warm-up routine, adding in that injury prevention. Tons of concepts here for your body to think about. But as we mentioned, your body is super important. If you're not fully healthy into your season and you're not in your best shape, that is not good. Use this preseason to get on track with that. Your main priority needs to be get your body right. Part 2 of these preseason essentials now, once you get your body right, is now focusing on your individual skills as well. And with your individual skills, I'm going to start right here. Learn the full decision-making foundations playbook. There eventually will be a full course on this. But for right now, you can go to the course that says Basketball IQ Foundations. What it'll talk about is spacing, game actions, decision-making 101, simple concepts that if you understand, I guarantee it'll put you light years ahead of your teammates. 90% of high school players do not understand this. So by you understanding those concepts of spacing and the game actions of pin downs, dribble handoffs, pick and roll, you know, understanding how to attack gaps, all of these things matter and will help to lead results on the floor. So learn that full decision-making foundations playbook. I promise you, investing that time and learning that will be a game changer for you. It'll be your foundation as a player that you can now build off of. Okay? Now, diving into the individual skills you should be working on, I'm going to start with simulating the game and everything. For example, you go into a workout. Let's say you're in high school right now. You've got 4 8-minute quarters. Run an 8-minute segment of drills hard. Rest. Go another 8 minutes. Rest. Another 8 minutes. Rest. Another 8 minutes, rest. And you might be thinking, only 8 minutes? Well, you're simulating the game here, no? So those 8 minutes could be a very intense shooting workout where you're going 8 minutes straight, and then you switch it to your partner, and then he goes for 8 minutes, right? So, like, doing some kind of game situation simulation is what will help you feel comfortable on the court. For me, I'm in college, so it's 2 20-minute halves. I'll do a 20-minute workout, 20-minute handle, finishing, shooting, skills, rest, another 20 minutes. And I'll try to simulate that as much as possible. Maybe I'm going to do a live situation game for 20 minutes, give myself a full halftime. I literally have given myself a 10-minute halftime, just like in a game. And then do another 20 minutes. So, like, simulating the game, something to really think about, will help you feel more comfortable. Which, by the way, if you know your playing time as well, you could get even more detailed where, like, let's say you come off the bench, and this is a true story. Duncan Robinson, a great shooter on the Miami Heat, his shooting coach would simulate the way he would play the game. So Duncan Robinson, back then, he was not starting. He would come off the bench and be a shooter. So he was an off the bench spot-up shooter. What is the best way to simulate that? He literally would have him sitting down for, let's say, 7 minutes, right? So first quarter, he's out of the game for 7 minutes, and then at the 5-minute mark, so after 7 minutes, he'd be like, all right, Duncan, get in. And he would have him doing game shots, right? And with those game shots, let's say he missed his first 3 shots. Duncan, sit down. Why? Because just like a game, if he went in the game at the 5-minute mark, took 3 threes and missed 3 threes, Duncan, sit. Why? Because he's not a good defender. So he's got to be able to knock down shots. Over time, Duncan got comfortable with that. And so when he would sub in at that 5-minute mark in a real NBA game, he was prepared. And you know what? He was knocking down those shots. Why? Because he simulated that. And what that ended up leading to is Duncan Robinson went from off the bench to a starter, and now Duncan Robinson. So simulate the game and everything you're doing. Just concepts to think about. Role-specific training, right? So preseason time is different than off-season time. You've got to really take your off-season, skills that you're working on and put them into those game situations. I always say you should still do that in the off-season, but let's say you didn't do that. Heading into your preseason, know your game actions you're going to play off of, apply those skills. So if you're working on a specific finish, let's say you're working on a veer finish, well, be able to execute that veer finish coming off, let's say you come off a lot of pick and rolls coming off those pick and rolls. You come off a lot of pin downs and you're working on a specific footwork. Now you could come off those pin downs, apply that footwork, right? You've got to get as role specific as possible. Game actions that you're playing and the shots you're taking, role specific. Just like we mentioned, like you're simulating the game and everything with the structure of your workouts. Well, you're simulating the game with how you're working out with the drills. Okay? Simulate the game. With that being said, live. Play more live. Play with people that are worse than you. Play with people that are just at your level. Play with people that are much better than you. Play live. You need to take everything you've been working on and go live. You should be in your freshest rhythm self in this preseason by playing a ton of live. Take those new skills, apply them to the live situations. There might be some struggle there. There might be massive success. It does not matter. You've got to be live. You've got to rip the Band-Aid off. If you find yourself only playing live 1 or 2 times a week, that is not good. It's the preseason. You got to be in your best self. You should be playing live minimum 4, 5, 6 days a week. Why? Because when your season starts, how many days a week you playing live? You have practice 6 days a week. At every single practice, you play 5-on-5, 4-on-4, 3-on-3, 2-on-2, 1-on-1. You're playing live. Prepare your body for that. Prepare your mind for that. Get into that rhythm now. Play live. On top of that, start adding in accountability. My favorite thing to do right now, especially in the preseason, is if I miss a free throw, down and back. Accountability. You should want to make every single free throw. Little things matter. Okay? It's adding in pressure with your shooting. Right? I have to go 5 of 7. If I don't go 5 and 7, down and back. Right? Accountability. There's pressure that comes with the season. Your coaches are watching you, your fans are watching you. There's pressure. Simulate that pressure. Accountability. Valuing everything. So you should care about the makes and misses. Okay? If you lose the ball, there should be no more turnovers in your workouts. You value everything. You lose the ball, damn, down and back. Accountability. Right? You've got to now just elevate yourself in this preseason. When it's the off season and you're working on skills, you're having a little bit more, free fun. And you can involve, accountability in your workouts in the off season. I'm not saying you can't, but, if you're a player that's now heading into the preseason, you've got to ramp up your mindset. You've got to ramp up how you're doing things. So that accountability is huge. Valuing everything and limiting your small mistakes are huge. So value everything. On top of that, can you value everything and keep yourself accountable while doing it tired? Because when you're in practice, you will be fatigued. Can you still make shots? Can you still knock down those free throws? Can you still be effective making plays in a fatigued state? Train that. Train that. Let's say you're doing a shooting machine workout and you shouldn't just be perfectly being able to shoot shots, right? How about you ramp up where, you do a 17. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, all the way to 17. And then you let's shoot. Be able to make shots in a fatigued state. You're going to be fatigued in the games. Simulate that. You're working on passing. You're working on decision making. You're playing in live situations. Conditioning. Boom, do that. Ramping up the conditioning. Being able to do things in a fatigued state. All part of that preseason. Okay? Another thing that you can add here. The film studies. I love this where it's like, watch film every day. Let's say your season starts November 1st and it's currently October 1st. Make it a challenge for yourself that you're going to watch film for 30 days in a row. What that's going to do for you is just going to keep your decision making sharp, right? If you're watching decision after decision after decision, those are 100 reps that you might be watching. If you do that over a month, you might be watching 1,000 reps. Your decision maker is going to be sharper on the floor, right? So watch more film. And, I love this one too. The domination runs and the live workouts to build your confidence are huge. So for me, during my off season, I'm working out with high school kids right now. So in my workouts, I'll jump in and I'll kick their ass. I'm a 22-year-old college basketball player that plays at a high level. I'm playing a high school kid, I'm kicking their ass. Which is actually good. They're probably like, you're not getting better. Oh, yes, I am. I'm building my confidence. I'm working on my moves. I'm getting very creative. I'm building my confidence. Now, to offset that, every Friday morning, I go to a professional open runs where I struggle. I see both sides. I'm in a bucket where I'm building my confidence. I play with my teammates, which is the level I'm at. And then I'll also play against the pros. So I'm filling my buckets here. And so now it's helping me with my development, but it's keeping me motivated. It's building my confidence. I'm getting used to my teammates. I'm playing so much right now in different buckets. It's helping me with my development to prepare for my season. How can you do that? Can you put yourself in a situation where you can dominate? Can you put yourself in a situation where you can struggle? Can you put yourself in a situation where you could, compete equally? Fill those buckets. But, from a skills standpoint, if you execute everything we just talked about, learning the full decision-making foundations playbook, simulating the game and everything, role-specific training, live, adding accountability to drills, valuing everything, having the ability to make plays and shots in a fatigue state, you're watching film daily, you're going through domination runs or live workouts, and you're playing in those high-tier runs, and you're filling all those buckets that you need to fill, you 100% will put yourself in an individual state where you'll be able to perform when your season starts. This is a preseason program. Try adding all of these things in. Even if it's just one, add it. I promise you're going to see results, right? It's pairing everything together here. Taking your body, now taking these individual skills, start ramping up where now you can be your best form so that you can play well this season. Now with part 3 of the preseason essentials, it kind of branches off the individual skills, and let me explain what I mean. So the first thing I'm going to mention here, it's a very short list, there's only 3 things, is you've got to understand your game fully, right? And the reason why I say you have to understand your game fully is that you've got to know your go-to moves, your favorite actions, your strengths and weaknesses, and your overall role on your team. To do that, you might have to communicate with coaches, you might have to watch your film, you might have to really have a deep, analysis of your game. But you've got to understand your game and know how it's going to fit with your team. Have some kind of vision about what your team is going to be looking like, the system you're going to be playing, and see how is my game going to fit into that. Because from a skill standpoint, you'll find opportunities where, like, the team needs this, right? In my situation, I am the team captain. I get a lot of playing time, but I know my team needs 3-point shooting. That's a strength of mine. Let me dive into that a little bit more in this preseason to make sure my 3-point shooting is the absolute best on the team. That's going to keep me on the floor. My team needs shooting. What are the things that your team needs, right? So it's like, understand your game. Knowing your strengths, your weaknesses, your go-to moves, your actions, your role, and then find where you can find that little gap in your team where you can now excel. Okay? If you can do that and you can enhance that, it's going to lead to a successful preseason for you. Okay? On the flip side, what would be the number one thing that you would need to improve on to have that success? So we just talked about like a strength that you might have had. What about a weakness? What weakness do you have in your game that might lead to you getting less playing time? For me, it's consistency. I am a very streaky shooter. I can make 7 threes in a row in a game, I've done it. But then I can miss 7 in a row, right? I'm streaky. That's a weakness. And so if I sharpen that up, that's my one thing right now. What's your one thing? Maybe it's turnovers. A lot of players deal with turnovers. You've got to know, like, think about, let's say you've had a lot of, summer league games with your high school, or even thinking back to last year. Why did the coach sit you? You get subbed out. Why did the coach sub you out? It's not just rotation. There's a reason he's subbing you out. You don't play good enough defense. You're not getting enough rebounds. You don't knock down shots. You got to know. You got to know. Back when I was in high school, it was my defense. I was shorter, a little skinnier. I couldn't guard. So when I got blown by, out. That's what I dealt with. If I were to go back, I would say, this off season, I need to get stronger, and I need to be able to guard people. I'm going to guard people that are better than me. So you know what? When I get to the season, I'm staying in front of people. I'm going to get more playing time. I'm not just going to, focus on my shooting because that's what I love to do and that's my routine. No! I've got to find why I'm not playing more. And I've got to fix that. So what's your one thing? Really get clear on that. And the last thing here is just visualize the player you're going to be. This is something I've done recently, and it's so powerful. Literally just close your eyes sometimes and just visualize yourself in the game. I want to be the player of the year. I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to see myself scoring and doing a dope finish and hitting a game winner and being in big moments in the game. I'm going to feel the crowd. I'm going to feel the sweat coming down my face. I'm gonna see the coach, drawing up the play in the huddle, and then I come out of that huddle and I hit that 3. You visualize. Spend time doing that. Spend time visualizing yourself in front of that crowd and, in that game. That's part of that team concept, right? So if you can understand your game, how it applies to the team, know the number one thing you've got to work on, and you can visualize the player you're going to be this season, it'll give you everything you need within the team concept to have a successful preseason, and ultimately it'll roll over in the end season. Spend some time getting detailed on this, and remember, the more detailed you get, the better you can execute and the more results you're ultimately going to get. With these preseason essentials, there was 3 parts to it. We focused on your body, your individual skills, and the team. With all 3 of these parts, They all come together. It is all under one umbrella to help you have a successful preseason that'll ultimately lead to you having a successful in-season. These are tools for you. And what I really want to make clear here is it's a tool to help you dominate the environment you're in. If you have big goals and you've got dreams of being a high-level player, you've got to learn how to dominate any environment you're in. These notes have come from years and years of experience of how you can dominate the environment you're in. I want to dominate the environment I'm in as a college basketball player. Do you want to dominate the environment you're in? If you are, execute all this information. Execute the body, execute the individual skills, execute the team. If you're a player that, maybe doesn't want to dominate the environment you're in, maybe you just sprinkle this in. But if you want to dominate, sprinkle it all in. Get your mind right. And it'll take time, right? This is your first preseason plan you're putting together, right? It's a skill to put this together. So your preseason one right now as a freshman, well, you could have your preseason one, reflect on that. And then now as a sophomore, your preseason 2 is going to be better. Then your preseason 3 is going to be even better. Preseason 4 is even better. And then now you're ramping up your game, and it'll take you the rest of your career. So if you want to dominate the environment you're in, start right now. Start right now of taking all 3 of these parts, put them together, connect all those dots. Find a way to apply it to what you're doing right now. And my best advice for that is you've got to put a blueprint for yourself together, and you've got to give yourself a schedule to follow, right? Let me give you an example, right? So we're talking about the body, we're talking about the individual skills, we're talking about the team, okay? There's a lot of things here. There's a lot of concepts. How can you create a blueprint and a plan for yourself to do that? Let's start with part 1 with the body, right? So with part 1, we're talking about getting healthy, we're talking about getting in tune with it, getting in elite shape, lifting, having a warm-up routine, and injury prevention. Those are a lot of pieces. It's all habits. It's just habits. You look at a full week ahead of you, Monday through Sunday. Okay, I'm going to lift on these days. Okay, I'm going to reflect and say, okay, I'm not 100% healthy right now. I've got tendonitis. So when I'm doing those lifts on those 3 days, let me make sure I add some more injury prevention, okay, and do that. Okay, when I'm doing those lifts, let me make sure it's hypertrophy. And then I'm going to add in conditioning at the end. Right then and there, you almost got all those body parts down. Boom, done. Then we talk about warm-up routine. Before you get on court, you're doing that warm-up routine. You're developing that habit. Just like that, you incorporated all those body essentials. Boom, right away. Good. Let's go to the next one. Let's go to the individual skills. Okay. I've got a month to my season. Let me start right now. Let me learn that full decision-making foundations playbook. Might take me a couple of days. Cool. Then let me get a plan together for my skills. So, if I'm lifting 3 days a week, let me do skills twice a week. 1 on 0. I'm going to get shots up. I'm going to work on my situations. I'm going to get confident. Good. I got to do these live situations these days. I'm going to run with my open runs here. I'm going to put together this small group. I might go to this training session. Awesome. Okay? When I'm in that, I'm valuing everything. I'm holding myself accountable. Okay? And I'm working on my role, while also simulating the game. Like you can put all this together, boom, and you combine it. So just like that, part 1, part 2, check. Then you go to part 3 with the team, you understand your game, you know exactly what you want to work on, and you visualize before you go to sleep. How simple was that? I took all 3 parts with your body, your individual skills, with your team, all under one, and in a full week you executed it. Not that hard. Really, is it? It takes effort, it takes focus, it takes planning, it takes strategy. You can do it. And just like I mentioned, this is preseason 1 for you. This is a blueprint that you're going to build on, right? It takes years to build habits. I didn't just pull all this information out of a hat. I've been doing this for years. And it grows and it builds. And you know what? In a couple of years, this will be even better of a list. It'll be even more organized. Same thing with you, right? You've got your first off-season plan here. Use this as a foundation for year 1, and then you could build on it. It's all really perspective here, guys. The The goal is to dominate the environment you're in, but it takes time to learn how to dominate. You know, if you expect the result right now, it's going to be a frustrating preseason for you, and that's not how it should be. Okay? You've got to just put yourself in a position to be successful this year, and that's exactly what you're doing. If you're watching this video right now, you are doing that. Just keep doing it. Just stay locked in. Keep building, keep learning, keep applying, keep executing. This is year 1 of you learning this information. Year 2, you might come back, you learn some new things, you apply some new things, you keep building on that. But you know what? You keep doing this year over year. In a year, 2 years, 3 years, how about 5 years? 5 years, you're going to look back and be like, I'm a completely different player. You're going to be embarrassed about your old self because you've grown so much. Just keep building, keep executing. Dominate the environment you're in by starting right now and executing all this information. Now with move number 4, it's time for you to go all in on your self-improvement. With this move, we're going to be going through a ton of different concepts where now you can just optimize your life, go all in with your self-improvement. If you lock in on your self-improvement this preseason, from September to October to November, you will be unrecognizable. You should always be looking back the month before and saying, I'm so much better than then. I'm better. I keep getting better and better and better. More than just basketball, the human element of it. That's where the growth comes together, right? You are a human first, basketball player second. And if you continue to improve your human self and your basketball self, that is like 1 + 1 = 3. It continues and compounds. They work hand in hand. So with move number 4, you're going all in with self-improvement. I have some things here that I promise you will elevate your life. As we've mentioned in the past, you might not be able to execute all this right now, but you know what? Find something you could add to your lifestyle. Start building those habits. Continue to build these habits over time. And then from year 1 to year 3 to year 5 to year 10, things continue to grow. So let's dive right into it. I'm going to start right here. Study the NYC Hoop School 25 standards. These 25 standards, find them in the app, are the standards that will lead to your success as a basketball player. There's so many concepts there. Gems. I mean, I spent day after day, month after month, for years building those standards. Use them. I don't just put them out there to say, 25 standards for New York City Hoop School. No! I put them together for you to learn them and apply them. You know, those standards, if you could, focus on applying one standard a day, one standard a week, one standard a month, and you apply all 25 standards to your life, I guarantee you will accomplish your goals. Guarantee. Take the 25 standards, learn them. Go through them. I promise you. It'll transform your game. Next, get organized with the schedule. For me, I operate my whole life on Google Calendar. I'll pull it up right now. I operate my whole life on Google Calendar. I've got week after week after week planned. Exactly what I'm doing. Class here, practice here, games here, cross-country meet here, event here, camp here, family function here. Operate off a schedule. You might not have the craziest schedule right now. That's okay, but operate off it. Because we talk about adding in the lifts and adding in the live situations and the runs and doing all of that. How do you fit it all in? I fit it all in, and I'm currently a college basketball player that's running a business. How do you fit it in? I have a schedule, and you fit in stuff in that schedule. High performance people run on a schedule. I don't know one high performance person that doesn't have a schedule. You've got to be efficient with your time. Make a schedule for yourself. And it can be very simple. It is going to be a simple schedule for yourself. You've got class Monday through Friday. After class, you might have a high school workout. That's your schedule. That's your schedule. Okay? Now, where can I add in my lifts? Where can I add in my extra skills workouts? Where can I add in my extra conditioning? Where can I have my rest days? Have your priorities in there. So now you know when you're going to class, you know when you've got your team workouts, right? And you know where you can continue to improve. Have a schedule for yourself. It's a game changer. Google Calendar on your laptop, or even, let me show you something. I put it on a whiteboard. This is going to cover my face. It's going to cover my face. It's okay. Look, I have a schedule that I look at every single day. This is my second whiteboard. Check it out. So, everything I have here is, my schedule, my events, and I just cross it. I know my projects. You gotta just get clear on your life. The busier you are, the more organized you have to be. Right? And so, if you're busy right now, just make a schedule for yourself. Follow it. Have something that you can look at. Know exactly where you can do things. Having a schedule is huge for your self-improvement. Okay? Let's move to the next thing. Planning your next 15 moves. I showed that whiteboard before. Right? Plan your next 15 moves. There's a strategy to your life. What we're doing right now is planning your next moves. Move number 1. What was move number 1? Move number 1 is get in tune with yourself. So get in tune with yourself. That's a move. Move number 2, build relationships. Let me build relationships with people. Okay. Move number 3, let me execute these preseason essentials. Move number 4, let me go all in on my self-improvement. Move number 5, right? Let me get my mindset right. So those are some moves that you're going through right now. What are your moves for the future? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I just gave you your first 5 moves. What are your next moves after that? What are your plans for the season? Do you have moves there? What are your plans for the AAU? We talked about this. Well, do it now. Do it now, because it's your fuel for the future. Okay? And read. I have a book list right here that I wanted to share with you guys. To me, these are some of the best books that you can read before your season. Okay? So, book 1, your next 5 moves. Highly recommend this. It talks about business strategy, but what you've got to realize is, as an athlete, you are your own business. You have to treat yourself like a business. Why? Well, let me ask you this. Is LeBron James a business? Absolutely. Any NBA player in general, they're a business. They get sponsorships. They're getting paid high salaries. So you have to have strategy. You have to have plans behind yourself. Your next 5 moves. Let's go right to the Tim Grover books. These are unbelievable. These right here, by Tim Grover, Winning and Relentless. So this is the first one is Relentless. Second one is Winning. It's all mindset. Tim Grover was the trainer for Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan exclusively hired Tim Grover because he didn't want him working out anybody else. Just think about that for one moment. Michael Jordan hired Tim Grover to personally train him and nobody else because he's that good. After he worked out with Michael Jordan, he was working with Kobe Bryant. He also worked with Charles Barkley, Dwayne Wade. He is one of the most highly respected trainers in the world. Reason why I'm bringing him up is because he wrote 2 books that talks about the mindset of the greats. He has a framework in this book that talks about the difference from, to be a good player, a great player, and an unstoppable player. Then he talks about the winning mindset. These 2 right here, if you just read these 2 books, it'll take your mindset to the next level. Can't recommend them enough. These next 2 I really love by Ryan Holiday. Ego is the Enemy. Something I actually struggled with a lot in my playing career. All basketball players have egos. And an ego can be beneficial at times, right? Having a chip on your shoulder, having something to prove. It's not what this book really talks about. This book talks about the threats of the ego, right? When you find yourself, talking back to a coach or not being a good teammate, that's all ego. Really good book. I've read this book 3 times. Really good. And then The Obstacle is the Way. If you deal with a lot of adversity, it'll give you a lot of mental breakthroughs. Obstacle is the Way. Really good books. And then you go into The Mindful Athlete. The Mindful Athlete talks about the secrets to performance. Really talks about a lot mindfulness, meditation, just really good stuff here. I highly recommend it. And then the one thing, really love this book. Talks about productivity with your life, prioritizing things like that. Really good books. There's always more books that you could read. I'll even show you one more. It's under a stack, but called The Daily Stoic, something you could read every day to help you, center your emotions. But, reading is one of the best ways for self-improvement, right? Picking any of those books that you feel like, would be beneficial for you, just pick one. I challenge you, just pick one. You want to talk self-improvement? Read. High performance people read. So read. Try one. Start with the Tim Grover books. I recommend it to every player. Relentless in winning. Get your mindset right. Watch it take your game to the next level. Okay, learning that information about your mindset. I'm sure you've heard it. 75% of the game is confidence. Yeah, it is. It's mindset. It's mindset. How do you develop your mindset? Read. Let's keep moving here. Journaling. I am not someone that hides it. I journal. I document everything. I document things through my journal. I have voice memos. This is almost like a documenting for me too. Like, I document everything. Journal. Reflect. It's powerful. We talked about connecting dots. You want to connect dots in your life? Journal and reflect. Adding in some meditation and breathing techniques. So, I used to meditate every day. I currently don't. But I've been doing it more where I find moments where I can meditate. Sit down. Breathe. Relax. Unwind. Process. Even just taking those 2 breaths. I've been filming this full course. That feels good. Try it. Center yourself. Really good stuff. Getting ahead in school. So we talk self-improvement. Look, school is a part of your life. Okay, I don't care if you like it or not. It's a part of your life. You've got to get through it. You've got to do it well. So get ahead in school. Okay, it's part of your self-improvement. Opens up time for you. Developing good routines morning and night. So, every morning, what are you doing before school? Are you eating the right meals? You have good hygiene? You have good habits in place? Night routines. What are you doing at night? Good routines. Again, hygiene, recovery. Maybe you're getting extra workouts in, morning or nights. Like, develop those really good routines. And just overall, you're building the habits that compound over time and lead to massive success during your season. Okay, I am seeing this right now, where I started my journey, I want to say 6 or 7 years ago, right? So like, you could always find a point in time in your life where like, this is the moment where like, I took the game seriously. And it was really my freshman year of high school, so it was longer than 6 or 7 years ago, maybe 8 years ago. Where I said, I want to be a great basketball player. There's clearly levels to this. So I've got to dive into my habits, my workouts, the information, and I've got to continue to build. So let's say that started in my freshman year. And it just got better and better. So my workouts got better, my lifestyle got better, my mindset got better. And I'm seeing this compound over time. Well, I look back now 8 years ago and I'm like, I'm completely transformed as a person. I see people in high school, they're like, wow, Evan, you've really done this. Hell yeah, I did. And the reason why I'm sharing that with you is because you might be at that year 1 right now. You watching this course might be at your year 1. Start right now. And it'll build, it'll compound. You actually have the information that I never had as a player. I wish I had this, hence why I'm making this for you. You have the information right now. So execute it. I'm at year 8. It took me 8 years to get to this point. Well, you have the information, you have the blueprints. Why can't you do it by year 4? Right? You could accelerate that time. You could cut it in half. So, build those habits from now. Just start building and building and building and you'll get there. Okay? Next, I would say is reflect after everything. So, one of my favorite habits of all time is the 5-minute reflection. The second I finish filming this course, I'm going to reflect on that. Maybe it was good, maybe it wasn't good, positives, negatives, changes I would want to make in the future. I'm going to reflect on it. I'm going to spend 5 minutes doing that. Every time I get off the court and I work out, I reflect on those 5 minutes. I go on a 5-on-5 game. I'm playing in practice. Doesn't matter what it is. I 5-minute reflect. I might 5-minute reflect 4 times in a day. But what happens is by reflecting, you connect those dots that we've been talking about. And so, reflect. Spend 5 minutes, develop the time. Even when you're done going through this course, reflect. After this video, reflect. Just reflect on things, because that's what connects the dots. It shouldn't just be a rapid run through life. You've got to reflect, you've got to learn, you've got to continue to build. A reflection is a building block. Okay? A reflection is a building block, and if you reflect, and you build up this massive block, you have the foundation. Now you can build floor 1, floor 2, floor 3, floor 4. But if you don't reflect, again, you're just putting blocks down in random places. You're not building anything. You've got dot points all over the place, but you're not connecting them. You're putting in work, you're putting in the effort, but you're not working smart. Reflect. Reflect after everything. Okay? And that all just starts with stacking daily victories. Okay? So today might be a victory for you. Tomorrow's another victory, and you keep on stacking these victories. You win every single day. You have the mindset. You have the mindset of winning every single day. You have a winning, relentless mentality. You're going to be successful. Okay? And then as always, be healthy. Have healthy habits. Okay? We talk about self-improvement. These are just some tools for you. Okay? Again, it takes time to add all of this in your life, but make an effort to do it. Okay? Get organized. If there's one thing I would add to the list right now, is just get organized. Get organized with your life. Get organized with your schedule. Get organized with your development plan. Get organized with your preseason. Get organized with your vision. Get organized with your goals. Just be organized. Because when you're organized, you can be creative. You can flow. You can accelerate your development. Organized people get things done. Organized people can execute. Get organized. Organization will help you with your self-improvement. These tools we talked about will help you with your self-improvement. You will be building momentum into your upcoming season. So go all in right now. Start right now on your self-improvement. Build, build, build. Have a successful preseason. Have a successful in-season. Have the moves in front of you. Okay? Study the standards. Have your schedule. Plan your 15 moves. Read. Journal. Meditate. Get ahead in school. Develop good habits. Have the good routines. Reflect after everything. Stack daily victories. Be healthy. Do the things that high-performance individuals do. And that will make you a better basketball player. Stay driven by results during the process and keep on building. I'm giving you everything I wish I had as a player in one course. I'm doing everything I can to help you be successful as a basketball player. But if you want results, you have to take ownership with your process. Meaning, you need to recognize that you are in full control of your destiny. Not your coach, not your parents, not your friends, not anybody. Because the environment is just the environment. Again, you've got to detach yourself from everything. So, you are in an environment right now. That's your environment. How can you dominate that environment? Going all in with your self-improvement. Having a plan behind you. Knowing the essentials you need to execute. Understanding yourself. Building relationships. We're talking about dominating your environment. You have to learn how to dominate your high school environment right now. Dominate it. Okay? You have to take ownership in that. You might have the worst coach in the world. 90% of high school players I talk to are unhappy. You might have the worst coach in the world. You might be in the worst environment where, he's yelling at you and there's politics. Well, guess what? That's everywhere. That's just your environment. It doesn't control your life. So how do you dominate that? You recognize it, you see what's in front of you, and you put yourself in a position to be successful. That's all we're doing right now. You're putting yourself in a position to be a successful basketball player. There's things that you can do for yourself. There's things you can do in front of your team. Things you can do in your life to put yourself in a position to be successful. You might be in this situation as a basketball player, but how about the situation you might be in at your job? How about the situation you might be in, with a family, right? Like, there's going to be different situations in your life. Okay, you can mold that to the way you want it to be. Okay, an environment is just an environment. The same way the game of basketball is just the game of basketball and you are a human. Okay, you're a human, that's the game of basketball, this is your environment, it is all separated. Okay? There's connections, but it's separated. So for you, how can you win every day in front of you? How can you put yourself in a position to be successful? It's taking full ownership in your process, because it is. You have full ownership. If you truly want to accomplish any goal you want, you got to take that ownership. Okay? A successful person doesn't look at an environment and say, I can't be successful there. Come on, man. I thought you had goals. You want to be player of the year, and you're looking and you're saying, the environment is just not letting me do it. Come on, man. Is that really something that a player of the year would say? Something that, Michael Jordan would say or Kobe Bryant would say? No. They take the bull by the horns and they do it. They go and accomplish those goals. They dominate their environment. Have that mindset. Have a winning, relentless mindset. Keep on building. Move number 5. Prepare your in-season mindset. What we're about to dive into right now is talking about your vision for your playing career, some of your goals, getting some expectations for the season, the attitude you want to have, the positive self-talk, avoiding some of the negative self-talk. Really just giving you a foundation now that, your season is going to have up and downs. Guaranteed there's going to be up and downs. Your mindset is going to help you navigate through that. So what this is going to do for you is just give you a few frameworks and really ultimately help you have the right mindset to win and master your environment. Let's dive into it. So, what is your vision for your playing career? Do you know it? Well, let me tell you mine. I want to be a pro. I set that goal for myself years ago on my process. And so, when I was in high school, I would struggle in some games. But I knew that my vision is to be a pro. So, sure, I struggled in that moment, but I knew long term that it's building me to become a pro. That long-term vision helped me. What is your vision? Maybe it's not being a pro. Maybe you just want to be a Division III college basketball player. That's your vision. Awesome. You want to get a scholarship. Great. But get a clear vision. And then I want you to think, all right, how does this season build towards that vision you have? Right? So, for me, I want to be an overseas pro. Okay. I'm a fifth-year senior. This is my last year playing college basketball. How is this season building towards my vision? I've got to have some pretty good numbers. My goal is to win Player of the Year. We've got to win a lot of games. We've got to go, far in the Skyline Conference Championships. There's a lot of things that come with this season towards building towards that vision. I also have a combination where I'm a player and trainer, obviously. So, this vision I have for the business aligns with the basketball, where this season I'm learning preseason tools to share with players, in-season tactics to help players optimize their season, right? So that's my vision for my overall playing, business career as well. And so this season is helping me build towards that. What is it for you? Get clear on that. Because as we've always mentioned, there's going to be ups and downs, right? Having that vision, fuels you, motivates you, but it helps you push through those low points. Because, it constantly puts you in a perspective of I'm building towards something. And the people that build towards something have an energy to them. If you have an energy towards you that you're building towards a vision, it's going to be helpful. It's very helpful. Okay? Setting goals for the upcoming season. Right? So you've got your vision. You know how the season is going to help you. What are your goals? Do you have goals for this upcoming season? Okay? Those goals are going to help lock you in this preseason, right? So, think about it. My goal is to start this year. I was on the bench last year. Great. Let it lock you in, right? You want to average 10 points a game. All right, what's required for that? So start setting some goals. I love this one where it's creating expectations too, right? So you have a vision for your playing career. You know the goals you have for the upcoming season. Well, what expectations do you have? Okay, and I want you to think about a perfect situation, an average situation, and then a bad situation. Right? So let me give you an example with myself again. A perfect situation, I win Player of the Year. We win the Skyline Championship. We play a game in the NCAAs, and I'm getting looked at from some scouts. Perfect situation. Average situation. I have a very good season. I'm all conference. I'm averaging, 15 to 20 points a game. I'm competing, and we don't win the championship, but, we make the playoffs. Average situation. Then you look at a bad situation. A freshman guard beats me out. I don't think it's going to happen. A freshman guard beats me out, and I go from starting point guard to more of a role type player. I'm not scoring as much as I want to. We have a losing season, and we don't even make the playoffs. You got a perfect situation. You got an average situation. You got a bad situation. These are just some expectations that you should process. Don't overthink it. Process it. Because then you see, like, all right, this is the way things could go. Okay? I don't want the bad situation. Average situation is cool, but I want the perfect situation. I'm even just processing that perfect situation. I'm like, man, I want that. Motivates you. Think about that for yourself. Have a perfect situation, have an average situation, have a bad situation. With that being said, start developing the right attitude. And when I mean attitude, let me adjust that in saying the right positive attitude. There's no room for negativity. Just be straight positive, right? So you should be excited. You should be unselfish. You should be motivated. You should be locked in. You should be an energy giver, not an energy taker. That's that right attitude. Positive. Okay? Always thinking positive stuff, right? I had a bad game. I'm not going to be like, oh, I suck at this. No! You're thinking positive. All right, how can I build and learn from this? I'm not saying don't process emotions. You can process negative emotions. But what you can't do is you can't display negative emotions, right? You can reflect and saying, I had a bad game. I'm feeling a little down about it. And you can process that. You can spend some time doing that. But overall, you've got to stay positive. After a bad game, you're not saying, we suck. No, you got to be positive. We'll get the next one, guys, right? Like that positive attitude is contagious, right? We're just preparing your in-season mindset here, right? Things to think about, okay? Next one, learning how to focus in the moment, right? So if you have a habit in workouts to go to your phone, right? So like 20 minutes into the workout, let me go, check my text. Don't get distracted. Because when you think about a game, you might get distracted by someone in the crowd. That shouldn't happen, right? So like things are really connected here, right? So learn how to lock in. First off, it's a rule in my gym. If you're working out with me, no phones. I don't want to see you texting anybody. You are here. You're with me for this hour and a half, whatever it is. No phones. Just take it away. So you can learn how to lock in. Even beyond that, like if you're on a workout and someone walks in, don't just stop your workout and have a 20-minute conversation. No, there's a flow to things. There's an intent to things. You gotta focus. Be like, hey, look, I'm working out right now. It was great seeing you, but look, I just gotta lock in. Can I talk to you in a few minutes? They're gonna respect that, right? Like it's your life, right? So, focus. Learn how to not get distracted and lock in. Next is the winning everything mentality. I love this. It's focusing on getting the W, right? When you come to a game, there's different mindsets. Some people just go in, they go in. Other people are like, I don't think we can win this game. Other people go and say, we're going to win this effing game. They lock in. They have a winning mindset. And that winning mindset needs to go well beyond the games. It's got to trickle back to practice. I'm going to win every single practice. How about we get deeper into that? How about we win every single drill? That you dominate the drill. Let's go even deeper than that. How about I win every single rep? You got to have a winning mindset. Because these are just habits. Same thing we talked about, the habits of the focus. The habits of the winning mindset is huge. It's contagious, right? It's a competition mindset. You win everything. Domination, domination, domination. Focus on winning everything mindset. Next, the proving yourself mindset. Okay, you always have to prove yourself. I don't care who you are. For me, I'm coming off a season where I was the best player on the team. I was averaging 15 points a game. I had a very good season. I still have to prove myself. It does not matter who you are, what you've done. You gotta prove yourself. Okay, every day your rent is due. You gotta show up and you gotta work. Because you know what? You might be here right now, but if you think, oh, I'm better than everybody, you start going down the totem pole, you start losing trust, and just like that can snowball effect, but you're not getting the playing time you want anymore. You gotta prove yourself every day. And the beauty of proving yourself every day is you set a tone and a standard that elevates everybody else around you. Okay? I'm the best player on the team. Right? Or I have this massive confidence in myself. Okay? I'm going to prove myself every single day. I'm going to win every drill. I'm going to be locked in. That's your bar. That's your standard. You don't lower that for people around you. You make them elevate to you. Because then you know what that is? When someone is here and you're here and you help them raise that bar, that's called leadership. And that can be you. So by simply focusing on proving yourself every day, that's leadership. That's leadership. So do that. So do that. And just the one thing I want to briefly touch on as well with that is, don't do it in a selfish way. Right? So if you're proving yourself, it's not just about you. Right? You're in a team. So you're proving yourself every single day, but you know what's part of that proving yourself? Being a good teammate, encouraging others, leadership, energy, right? That's part of proving yourself. Not just you making shots or making plays. Nah, that's selfish. You're on a team, right? So it's proving yourself as a teammate in a team concept, making plays for yourself and your teammates, being able to knock down shots or make assists and encourage your teammate. Like all of that is proving yourself, right? So it's not just about you, it's about your team. Okay? Now I just want to talk a little bit about, positive versus negative thoughts, right? When you talk about positive talk, let's just briefly touch on self-talk, right? So like when you think about self-talk, you're looking at, all right, positive self-talk would be, I'm going to make the next one, or that's a good rep, or that's a tough bucket. And there's positivity to that. Negative self-talk would be saying, I suck. I can't shoot. Damn, I can't guard. Positive and negative. You really got to eliminate that negative self-talk because it ends up manifesting in your life. You've got to get away from the negative and just focus on the positive. So what it also